Hello, hello, everyone. Just giving ourselves a few more minutes to see how many other people will join us for this webinar today. All right. Let me confirm I have my my presenters here, Jack, Teresa, Rebecca.
Good morning and afternoon, everyone.
Great, I can hear you. Let's get everyone else.
Hello.
Jack. Oh, there's Teresa. Jack, you there?
Hello, good morning.
Fantastic. All right, let's get this party started. So welcome everyone to the Dynamics GP 2023 and Beyond Roadmap webinar. Today we'll be discussing the latest updates in GP, how to update any tools that you might need to augment your system, and moving beyond Dynamics GP and more about the cloud roadmap. Any extra Zoom webinar tips, there will be Q&A at the end of today, so we encourage anybody who has any questions as the presentation is going on to go ahead and click that Q&A button at the bottom, type in your response and click send. We will either respond live or respond to you later at the time if it's more of a customized question. With that in mind, I have three presenters today. We have Jack Peterson, Rebecca Bunis, and Teresa Brown. Jack is one of our pre-sales consultants who specializes in the Microsoft systems. Rebecca's been a trusted colleague in the GP and Microsoft space for several years and specializes in cloud migrations, current GP customers, and how to support them moving forward. And Teresa is one of our partners here at Armanino, who has can speak a little bit more to her own professional expertise, but she has been a strong proponent for GP and beyond for a number of years here. So these three experts will be the ones that will be walking you through the webinar today. Today's topics, as I mentioned, so a little bit more about what's in store for GP, augmenting your existing system, and steps that need to be taken when considering moving to a cloud solution. We'll be talking about the GP roadmap, functionalities, cloud integrations, augmentations, and then if you have any questions about changing your current system, we will have a conversation about migrating to it or moving to a cloud. And with that in mind, let's connect with Teresa and talk about what's next for Dynamics GP.
Thanks, Ashley. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am Teresa Brown. I am a partner at Armanino. I have been working with the GP solution for 20 plus years, and I really am excited today to talk to you about what's new with the GP solution and the roadmap for Dynamics GP going forward. So a little bit about the life cycle. So Microsoft acquired Great Plains GP a number of years ago, and at that point in time, there was a fixed life cycle policy, and now there's a modern life cycle policy. And we want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two today and what that means for clients who are currently on GP and moving forward, what that is going to mean to your solution. So what's the difference between mainstream and extended support? So mainstream support includes tax and year-end updates, security updates, non-security hot fixes. These are important in your current solution when you're on mainstream support, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. And extended support includes security updates, also very important to your Microsoft solution. Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about modern versus fixed lifecycle policy.
All right, thank you, Teresa. Welcome, everybody. Again, Rebecca Bunis with Armanino. So as Teresa mentioned, there's sort of two different life cycles within Dynamics GP. For those of you that have been on GP for a long time, you've traditionally been on the fixed life cycle. You can see just on the chart here the different versions of GP with their mainstream and extended support end dates. The GP 2018 is the last release on that fixed life cycle, where you can see mainstream support actually ended a little earlier this year, January 10th, which means there's no more hot fixes or year-end updates that will be applied or available on GP 2018. And now it moves into extended support for another 5 years on that product line. So maybe moving to the next slide. So when you do if you do decide to upgrade your Dynamics GP, and again, if you're on one of those older versions, you will actually be upgraded to the modern lifecycle, which is the 18.x platform. The most current version today is GP 18.5. And on the modern lifecycle, there's 3 releases a year. An October release that has some new features and functionality included. Of course, if there's any bug fixes, those types of things are included in that release as well. June, there's a mid-year tax update. And then in late November, there is a year-end update, which for the last few years, the 1099 changes have been very common and popular, right, for clients to have to apply those year-end updates for those 1099 changes. So by applying any one of those 3 releases in a given year, they're all cumulative, so you're always going to be sort of on the latest and greatest version going forward.
And Rebecca, one question that just came in is, how do I know if I'm on the modern versus the fixed? How do I know that?
The modern life cycle started on 18.2.
Okay.
So in your help about, if you go to your versioning, it would be in 18.2 or later, right? 18.3, 18.4,
Okay.
18.5. But if you're on one of those, you are on the modern life cycle. And again, if you are on, for example, 18.3 and you want to apply, the year-end update, it's going to be cumulative. So you're going to, automatically then be on the 18.5 year-end update version.
Okay.
With that, and it's really more of a service pack than an upgrade. So it's an easier sort of endeavor, right, of applying those updates than on the previous versions where they were, more of upgrades and more time consuming.
And so if I'm on an earlier version and I upgrade, am I automatically moving to the modern life cycle?
Automatically moving, yes.
Automatically moving. Okay, thank you. That's very clear. Thank you. All right, let's talk a little bit about the GP updates that have happened. There's a lot of rumors out there about GP is end of life. We want to dispel a little bit of that. There are a lot of updates that happened in the most current update to Dynamics GP. And so we want to dig into a little bit of those here. Ashley, thank you for advancing the slide. So what's new in GP as of October of 2022? There's a long list here, and there's another slide as well, but a couple of things that I want to point out here are the 1099 NEC form with blank paper. So if you put blank paper in, you will have the 1099 NEC forms with the lines, and all of the information will be in those boxes. So that's important to know. There's some other information here about GL account inquiry, lookup, enhancements. So you can do that by category or segment. Transaction level posting now, in parentheses, post through without printing that posting journal. So these are a little bit of the enhancements that are happening in GP. And then here's another list of items that have been enhanced during the October 2022 release. Auto posting batches approved through email workflow, et cetera. And if you look at the very bottom of this slide, and we're going to send this out to everybody, there's a link where you can go directly to all of the enhancements in October 2022 to GP. And so what's next? So GP is not dying, it's not going away. What is next? Here you can submit ideas or vote for suggestions that have already been submitted at the link below. So if you click there, you can go to not only GP, but you can go to any of the dynamic solutions and vote for suggestions of enhancements or improvements to the products. So let's move forward. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jack now and talk a little bit now about embracing the cloud.
Hello, everybody. And yeah, I wanted to start with kind of a conversation about what are the options, right? When moving to the cloud, right, it can seem like a big task there. And we wanted to kind of point out the two different focal points for you as a business. And we really have two main options here. So we can take GP itself and host it within Azure. So that is one of the options on to how to actually get to the cloud. And we also have a new mid-market product offered by Microsoft called Business Central. Business Central has been around for actually quite a while. They've purchased a product in the past called Navision, and they had rebranded Navision to Nav, and they've actually redone Navision into Business Central. So it comes off of the backbone of a really tried and tested legacy product, and it really is serving as that new mid-market cloud-based solution. The good thing is, regardless of the route you take on getting to the cloud, we're going to touch on some really cool tools that are applicable to both types of businesses here. And we're going to focus in on reporting specifically, because we know reporting is super important regardless of the business type here. And we're going to talk through what kind of reporting in the cloud actually looks like and touch on really our favorite 4 tools within our client base right now as well. So we're going to start left to right here and kind of touch on the capabilities of Business Central first. So Business Central is going to offer its own financial reporting. If you do evolve yourself into that new mid-market solution, similar to Management Reporter, we will have a reporting solution kind of built into the Business Central product line. And we're also going to have a subset of other reports kind of available out of the box with Business Central. Then we're also going to have some other really cool options with this move to the cloud, since integrations have gotten quite a bit more streamlined through APIs. We have other products being built that work really well off GP in the cloud or Business Central. And here are the 3 that we're seeing used the most. So we do have a tool called Solver that is also an evolved on-premise product that's also hosted in the cloud. And Solver really serves as a full FP&A tool. So they have a data warehouse behind the scenes where we can take data from multiple data sources, and then it really brings that custom reporting that's needed by certain businesses to the forefront of your business, where you can create custom financial statements and custom subledger type reports, and even automate the distribution of those reports. So Solver is really a tool we're seeing used to make reporting out of that next generation system even better. We also have Workday Adaptive Planning, and Workday Adaptive Planning is pretty like for like with Solver. Sometimes we are seeing this used with some of the larger scale solutions, but brings a lot of the same capabilities there with the data warehouse capabilities and the automated distribution, for example. So that's another really good option for a full FP&A like tool. And then the last here, and one of my favorites actually, is Power BI. So Microsoft has made a ton of investment into reporting theirself. So they've actually built Power BI's integration directly into Business Central, which is really nice. And Power BI really is mainly to serve as that self-service dashboard type tool where you can visualize the data within your business in more of a graphical type view. So we're not seeing it used as much for financial reports, for example, but in a couple slides here, we'll look at some of kind of the capabilities with Power BI. And we have some really nice third parties that have even pre-packaged report templates as well. So we'll kind of look at some of the benefits there. And to start with account schedules, right, this is kind of a snapshot into what the reporting can look like just straight from Business Central. So we do have a report writer included within the system, and this will really be kind of that basic financial reporting like capability here, where we can have reports built into Excel. We can also have them as kind of static PDF like reports, and we can have certain visualizations supported. So we can't do logo generation and certain things that are too advanced, but we can build out that consolidated balance sheet and consolidated income statement, as well as have some other visualization like capabilities. And this can be pulled directly from Business Central. And Ashley, you can go to the next one. And then Power BI is that second option. And this is also included with Business Central. So you do get a free license to Power BI. It's somewhat limited, but this is a tool that you can use from day one with Business Central, which is really nice. And this is an example of a pre-packaged template that actually comes with Business Central Insights. And this kind of shows you the power of Power BI, right? We can get a little bit more granular with the reporting requirements as well within your business. And it doesn't have to be just a visual-based report. Here we can see a pretty dynamic dashboard-like visual where we have the KPIs across the top. We also have the visual-based cues over to the right, and then we have a little bit of a snapshot to our financials even on the left. And this kind of shows some of the power to Power BI, and Microsoft's made a ton of investment here. So it works really well with both Dynamics GP and Business Central, which is a huge use case here. It's one of those products that you can even start using now, and as you evolve into the cloud, continue using. And then to kind of end with Solver and Workday Adaptive Planning. So these two solutions are those full FP&A-like tools that serve as a data warehouse, and then they can be used for both budgeting and planning and reporting. Solver actually is built in Excel, so the report editor is actually in Excel. And if we just look at kind of some of the differences here between this and maybe Management Reporter and Business Central's report writer, right, you're going to get the power of Excel within your report. And so you'll see, right, we have conditional formatting within this P&L. We have logo support, right? We have color support. And we can also build these reports to be layered. So you can have a P&L like this, and you can have a drill down capability as well. So if you right click on one of the fields down below, you can actually get to that source detail, making up the balance per account, which is really nice. And Solver also allows for automated distribution. So this is a good example of a use case we're seeing quite a bit for financial reporting, but Solver has a ton of benefits. And here's kind of the look and feel of what that report could actually look like. And then Workday Adaptive Planning is very similar to Solver. So we're going to see a lot of the same capabilities there. This somewhat can be even more robust. So we're seeing this used a lot with the large scale ERP systems as well. And it's going to serve very similarly as Solver in terms of capabilities. So we're going to get that sort of dashboard look and feel. We can also create static financial statement type reports as well. And then it will serve as a data warehouse. So very similar in terms of capabilities, and is another really strong solution that's offered for both products. And then I'll pass it back to Teresa to talk a little bit about
Thanks,
moving to the
Jack.
cloud.
Super helpful. So moving to the cloud. So whether you are on GP today and thinking about, your next move, let's talk about what that could look like. So what are the drivers as we think about why you would want to move to the cloud? Why would you want to do that? So there's companies who have invested in their ERP system 10 plus years ago and now are thinking about, well, my business is a little different now. Those are really good cases in addition to the disruption like the pandemic. Okay, so all of us had to deal with going to work from home. I'm actually working from home today. Those are reasons to potentially move to the cloud, excuse me. The younger workforce is looking for advanced solutions, easier ways to do their job. And so a lot of clients are talking to us about, our new hires want to use their tablet as opposed to working with a desktop. Technology's definitely evolved, and thinking about the maintenance of your servers, the security, I was looking at the news this morning and the city of Oakland got slammed with ransomware. Thinking about the fact that Microsoft spends a lot of money in their investment in security versus what I can spend today on my own house, right? Thinking about security is important. And then let's talk a little bit about Copilot. So Copilot is, how many of you have heard of ChatGPT? Copilot is a huge investment that Microsoft is making in the introduction of using things like AI in the investment in their software. So I've got some links here where you can go and actually watch a video about how Microsoft is investing in AI. Very exciting stuff.
And as we go into Business Central a little bit, we wanted to touch on really what are the capabilities of Business Central, right? A lot of these mid-market solutions do differ a little bit when comparing to one another. And we wanted to give you an idea, right, of what Business Central can handle. And kind of like we talked about a little bit earlier, Business Central really has been around for quite a while, since it's the evolved version, right, of Nav, which has been around for over 30 years. Nav was particularly strong within the inventory and supply chain type modules, but this kind of shows you the breadth of capability here that we're working with this new cloud product. So if we really just start from the top, right, we're going to get that back office strong core financial capabilities. So everything you're used to within Business Central from a finance perspective, you're going to have a lot of that same capability within GP and within Business Central. We're also going to have full support with inventory. So inventory, manufacturing, and assemblies are all supported within Business Central, as well as that full quote to cash process and procure to pay process. So really, no matter what business type you are operating within, right, Business Central can typically be a fit, as even non-inventory related businesses, right, are using that sales side and purchasing side of the business. And then we even have some new modules included within Business Central that maybe weren't as strong in GP or weren't used in GP. So we actually have post-sale services that can be tracked within Business Central. So we have an entire service management module that can handle really everything from maintenance contracts all the way through to service orders and project management as well. So we have a full project management or jobs module where we can do WIP tracking and book time and materials type projects or fixed fee type projects. So very strong there. And then from a reporting standpoint, right, we're going to get all of the reporting that we'd expect out of an ERP system, as well as those integrations, right, that we talked through a little earlier. So we're going to have that embedded Power BI product within Business Central that we can actually use and consume dashboards, as well as have built-in intelligence where Microsoft has kind of thought through some of the insights that we'd want and put that kind of front and center in the product. If you look at the right-hand side, this is also kind of cool. It's available everywhere, right? So regardless of the device you're on, mobile device, tablet device, or a computer, right? As long as you have an internet connection, you can get into the system.
Right.
All right.
So, oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
I was gonna say I'll start this one off. The three
Go
of
ahead.
us may tag team here a little bit, but just kind of given nature of time too. So as Jack mentioned, kind of some comparison between Dynamics GP and Business Central. For those of you that might be considering down the road to make that transition, there are some promotions that are available. I'll talk a little bit about next, but just a couple of maybe key things to point out sort of on this comparison slide here. One major difference is Dynamics GP is an on-premise solution, Business Central is a cloud-based solution. So doing those upgrades or service pack updates, and having to pay for those services to do that goes away on Business Central. Being that it's cloud-based, Microsoft's going to push out 2 releases a year automatically that will be updated. Couple other differences to maybe point out would be along your chart of accounts. Dynamics GP has had this segmented chart of accounts where Business Central is based on dimensions, make reporting a little bit easier. And then, a lot of our Dynamics GP clients do have a number of ISVs attached to their GP today. McCormick Micker is a very common, popular one. If you do use Micker today, that is not required on Business Central, as Business Central has its own Micker included in the product. But within the ISV sort of ecosystem, a lot of the ISVs that have been developed on Dynamics GP over the years also do have comparable solutions on Business Central if that functionality is not native to Business Central. So a very strong ecosystem similar to GP is available on Business Central if needed. Jack or Teresa, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on this slide you want to share?
Yeah, I think from my side, you nailed it. I think the differences are kind of pointed out and highlighted here. There's obviously a few more, right, scattered throughout the system, but the module set is pretty similar across the two products, which is good, right? You're advancing into the cloud. It's not like you're backtracking and losing functionality. We're actually adding functionality typically with Business Central. So it's a good slide to kind of highlight that certain things are different, but certain things are different in a good way. So.
Yeah. And I think, to end that conversation, getting a more modern workplace environment for your team is huge. When you move into the cloud, you have a lot of different capabilities. So I'm very excited to introduce all of the options that we have available in BC.
So as I mentioned, there have been a number of several promotions that Microsoft has offered over the last few years for clients that are wanting to move to the cloud with Business Central. The most current promotion is the Bridge to the Cloud 2, which started in February and will run through the end of December in 2024. The current promotion is a 40% discount. It is mostly tied to your Dynamics GP enhancement plan renewal. So when that comes up, or ideally before that, if you are interested in learning more about Business Central or considering it, the promotion is a great way to get access to Business Central. It basically allows for sort of dual rights access. So for the cost of your your current Dynamics GP enhancement plan, we will sort of calculate out what that would look like on Business Central with that 40% discount, and how many users you would get in correlation. GP is concurrent based, where Business Central is named users, so it's a little bit different in that capacity. But this current promotion is for 3 years, so it is a fixed term 3 years. So for it automatically renews. Your renewal will automatically renew each year for the 3 years of the term, and you are required to move to Business Central. If you didn't, there would be some some lapse in penalty fees, but certainly something we can talk about when you're ready, but just to know that there are some promotions and discounts available for those that are interested in moving. And then lastly, our partner at Innovate, they have sort of introduced this readiness assessment tool. And Teresa, do we have the website link on here? I'm not sure if it's on here, if it's on the next slide. We can maybe add it to the slide if it's not here.
If you click on readiness assessment from this deck, it will take you
to the website. Okay.
Yes, correct.
So on their website, there's a video that you can watch that kind of shows you sort of the 4 steps that are needed to get through the assessment, but it's very quick and easy. It's really going to be able to diagnose certain areas within your Dynamics GP around your ISVs, your SQL, a variety of different components, and it gathers that together. It's going to send you an email, and you'll eventually, it'll generate a report that you can then send on to your partner, if that's Armanino or whoever your Dynamics GP partner may be, and work with them to see if it makes sense to migrate over to Business Central at some point. Teresa, I don't know if you have any other comments or thoughts on that.
No, that's perfect. I mean, it gives you an idea of what, how ready you are to move to the cloud. So, you may own various modules within the solution, but how many of those are you actually using? So this is a very great tool to get you and us to understand how ready you are to make that move.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
And then sharing that information with your client manager is very important. Rebecca.
Yeah. So we did go a little bit over during our presentation today, but there were a couple Q&A questions that I was hoping to address. So for anyone that does need to drop off, there will be a recording of this as well as the video and the slide deck. So if you have any questions, feel free to again reach out to any client managers, or any of these 3 people would be happy to address any questions that you have. I really only have one question here, and it came from Teresa's conversation about ChatGPT. So the biggest conversation that people are having right now is everyone's heard about it. Most people have given it a shot. Microsoft invested a ton of money in the past, year over this platform. Is it going to implement into Dynamics or other Microsoft systems?
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Ashley. It is. It is moving into the BC product specifically, and I think I have a link in the deck that talks about it. But for instance, if you want to explain a little bit more about the new product that you're releasing, you can set up your item in BC. You can explain, how great it is, but ChatGPT will actually make it sexy and sellable.
Nice.
So yes, the answer is yes, they are rolling ChatGPT into, Copilot is rolling into all the Microsoft Dynamics products except GP. I apologize for that. But GP is a little bit, the technology does not allow for ChatGPT to be included. So
Another conversation to have if you're really interested in that ChatGPT for dynamics.
Yep.
We have a couple other questions that are pretty focused around GP in specific. So Carrie asked us about MR and saying MR has not been updated since 2012. Are there any plans to update that you're aware of?
Yeah, no, there are not. There are not any plans to update MR going forward. And Rebecca, I saw you shaking your head. You and I are both in agreement. That's not going forward.
Yeah, and it's been for quite a while actually. MR was sort of put into just continued mainstream support a number of years back. There really have not been any new feature functionality to MR, but they do continue to provide, service packs, the roll-ups. So, if you do upgrade your Dynamics GP, MR, gets upgraded along with that to the latest roll-up, but there's really no new feature functionality, but just, continued security updates, hot fixes, those types of things that are applied.
Right. And then Jack, can you answer the difference between essential versus premium on BC?
Yes, yeah. So Business Central has a couple different licensing tiers. The main two, are Essentials and Premium. And Essentials really includes everything within Business Central that we talked through today, aside from manufacturing and service management. So within your business, right, if you need either of those two modules, we would need to have all users upgraded to that premium tier. And there's about a $30 MSRP difference, but it essentially adds both manufacturing and service management.
Okay, Jack, one more question. Does the pricing on BC change depending on how many companies you have?
It does not, which is the really nice part. So regardless of kind of how we do the multi-entity management, pricing is not based on the entity count. So no, good question.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Rebecca, Jack, Ashley, thank you so much for your time today. Ashley, is there anything else that we need to do to wrap up?
Oh, there's one that just snuck in right now.
Oh, Office 365 has nonprofit pricing. Does BC have nonprofit pricing? Jack?
I do not believe so. Not at this point in time. That's a great idea. So hopefully we can influence them a little bit there, but we do have the discount coming off of GP. So hopefully that helps there too.
Great.
Great, guys. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining. If you have any questions, again, Jack, Rebecca, Teresa are happy to answer them. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.